Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Leading from Alignment with our good friend, coach. And again, I said last week, all around wise pause guy. He's a guy who's wise, John Opalewski. How are you today, John?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing well. It's so good to be with you recording again today. I'm excited about our subject.
Yeah, me too. I actually I think these last three have been this one and the last two have really been on target with holidays approaching.
Mm,
Things like that. It seems like when the seasons change, we remember the things that we had maybe last year that we don't have this year. We mourn differently during holidays. We there's more stress during holidays. There's more likelihood for us to fall into some of these traps. So I'm excited
right.
to hear what you have to say about today's topic. Why don't you get us started here?
Yeah, this title might be a little strange sounding, but it'll make sense, I hope, by the time we're done.
Yeah.
It's uh, it's called When Productivity Becomes a Disguise.
Hmm.
And I want to ask you, Jim, and ask our listeners and watchers, have you ever been in a season where everything looks good on paper? I mean, the ministry's thriving, your schedule is full, people are happy, but you feel empty.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're functioning fine,
Yeah.
but you're not feeling a whole lot. You're getting things done, but you stop being moved by any of it.
Yeah.
That
Dangerous.
sounds weird. Can that actually happen to you? Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it can happen to you.
Yeah.
Um, it, you're not necessarily crashing, you just feel flat.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about emotional exhaustion
Mm.
and the kind that often hides behind impressive productivity.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing is that you can be exhausted
Yeah.
and not know you're exhausted and produce at an incredibly high level.
Yes.
And those are the ingredients for something spectacularly bad
Yeah.
to happen in your world. And we don't want that to happen to you.
Yeah.
So here's, I want to stop there. I just want to hear what you think about this
Yeah.
idea.
Well, I think again, we're talking about an over demand on a resource that's perishable, the condition of our soul.
That's
So
right.
even more so when you're succeeding, people want to spend time with you. People think you have
Yes.
answers. People want to draw from that. And so I don't think this is rare. I think this is universal. I think everybody, if you're a great businessman, I think this is universal. If you're a great athlete, this is universal. If you've had success in ministry, or whatever people would see as success, this is universal. I think everybody learns their limits. I learned how to walk by leaning too far one direction and falling over,
Mm.
and it hurt. And so I learned not to lean so far that way. I think it's the same thing here. We're going to have to learn how to walk at whatever level we are blessed with. And often the best teacher for me is pain. It really
Uh,
gets my attention.
Unfortunately, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. So, so for a lot of leaders, here's what I've kind of noticed over the years, Jim, that the larger their organization gets, the faster the pace becomes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, there's
Amen.
exceptions to that, but in general, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And here's what happens before you know it, as a leader of an organization like that, adrenaline starts to run the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the danger of adrenaline running the show in your life. We start confusing adrenaline with anointing.
Hmm.
We start
Interesting.
calling busyness faithfulness.
Yeah. Good.
We assume pace equals fruit and value.
Hmm.
So what happens? We keep producing, we keep pushing, we keep performing.
Right.
All the while, there's this invisible wall
Right.
just waiting for us to crash into it.
Right. We're picking up speed as we head towards.
We're
Yeah.
accelerating towards this wall.
Yeah.
And when we hit that wall, here's what happens. Our emotions shut down.
Mhm.
I mean, altogether, we're present in body, but we are absent in soul.
Yes. Yeah.
So here's what that sounds like to me when we do so many coaching conversations in a year, it's incredible how
Yeah.
many thousands and thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of coaching conversations in a year.
Yeah.
And I hear things like this, I'm functioning fine, but I don't feel a whole lot.
Yeah.
Um, I I'm not crashing. I just feel flat.
Flat.
I
Yeah.
So if something good happens, there's no joy.
Right.
Something bad happens, it's like, that I'm just not moved by anything.
Right.
And what that means, that doesn't necessarily mean you're falling apart, but it means that you're you don't feel fully alive.
Right.
You and for some of us, it becomes kind of like the new normal.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we
That's
just
dangerous.
go into our week thinking, okay, so it's I'll give you a personal example.
Yeah.
We've had some really nice wins this week.
Yeah.
When I'm depleted, when I'm exhausted, and not aware that I'm depleted and exhausted,
Yeah.
the wins, there's no excitement.
Right.
That should scare me, right? That like
Right.
there's something's disconnected. Uh, and so I think what's underneath this flatness, Jim, is a long pattern of equating our value with how hard we work,
Yeah.
how much fruit we produce. We end up thinking this: if I'm busy, I'm valuable. If
Hmm.
I'm productive, I'm important.
Yeah.
If the numbers look good, God must be pleased
Yeah.
with me. But I'm wondering, what if Jesus never asked us to labor under that kind of grind?
Right. Yeah.
What if the weight we're carrying, leader, isn't his weight at all,
Yeah.
but one we've self-imposed,
Yeah.
or one we've allowed other people, unknowingly, we've allowed other people to impose
Yeah.
on us. So again, I want to just pause and get your thoughts on this
Yeah.
part of it.
We've called this in the past the yellow light on the dashboard.
Yes.
Right after the yellow light, as those who own cars know, there's a red light that comes on, and that's telling you damage has occurred, and it's not
Right.
maintenance anymore. It's actually repair. The check oil light, you ignore it, then you get a check engine light that's red. That means you just blew your engine because you didn't put in a quart of oil. You now have a multi-thousand-dollar repair, and I think the same is true with the human soul and the relationships around that human being. We If you begin to understand what the early warning symptoms are of very serious problems, if suicidal depression is a 10, then let's not talk about what's a 9 feel like. Let's talk about what a 2 feels like.
Right.
What's the second step towards that? And let's be really aware of that.
Yeah.
Because if you realize what 1, 2, and 3 are, you don't have to worry about 4, 5, 6, 10. You are prepared for
Sure.
that. So I think today's teaching is especially important for people who are succeeding because success,
Agreed.
um, it's euphoric, but it's even though you can be euphoric in a moment, you're still exhausted for weeks. And if
Right.
you can't feel joy and you can't feel pain, your yellow light has been on way too long, and
Yeah.
maintenance is immediately required. Like stop what you're doing this afternoon and pay attention to what John's saying.
Yeah, you mentioned warning lights, and I know we've taken time in the history of this podcast to
Yeah.
discuss what those are, but just real quickly, here's some things that our dashboard flashing lights that
Yes.
are early warning signs. Sleep disturbance.
Yeah.
Either you're not sleeping well or you're sleeping too much.
Yeah.
Uh, Irritability.
Yeah.
You're giving $100 response to a $1 problem.
Yeah.
Decision fatigue, just the inability to decide, to make
Yeah.
decisions. I call it Sunday evening dread
Yeah.
when the week is looming and
Yeah.
you're not looking forward to something that you normally look forward to.
Yeah. Right.
These are warning lights that are flashing at you, and there's many others. Some of them are very practical, like your calendar can be a warning light,
Yeah.
and it's specifically this: when's the last time you spent quality time with somebody who there was no ministry
Right.
attached to that?
Right. Just a
It's
friend.
somebody who
Yeah.
feeds your soul, somebody
Yeah.
who refreshes you. When's the last time you do that? And if you've got to think, when was that?
Yeah.
That light is flashing.
Yeah.
So when we coach leaders, Jim, through this particular issue of emotional exhaustion, we focus on three key areas. I'd like to go over
Do it.
those fairly
Yeah.
quickly here. One is detaching your identity from your performance.
Hmm.
Your worth, if you belong to Jesus, your worth isn't in what you produce,
Right.
it's in who you belong to.
Yeah.
You are God's beloved
Yeah.
son or daughter first before you are a pastor or a leader.
Yeah.
Don't get those two mixed up. Don't get
Mm-mm.
that order mixed up.
Mm-mm.
You're not a pastor first who happens to be loved by God. You're a son
Yeah.
or a daughter who is deeply and perfectly loved by God, who just happens
Yeah.
to be a pastor. So detaching identity for performance, very simple concept to get our arms around, a lot harder to make work in our life.
Yeah. Can I
It's
can I
not,
say something about that real quick?
please,
So
please.
this is I have my daily what I call my daily confessional truths. So there's six things I try to tell myself on a daily basis. And what you just said is number one is I am loved beyond measure and without condition by my Heavenly Father, who, knowing my entire life in advance, created me, chose me, gifted me, is fully committed to me, and will never change his mind about me. Like that's the
Mm,
number one thing in the morning.
that's
I want
beautiful.
I want to tell myself. And but again, what it does is it now I have an anchor. Now I have a foundation for everything else I'm gonna say, the other five things
Mm,
around that list. But without that first thing, everything's really shaky. I
yeah,
you've got to, and I'll say this too, John. It doesn't come because you heard a sermon on it 10 years ago. It is a neuron path burned until it's more
that's really good.
true. It has to be
That's
more
right.
true than everything that's going to assault that position of security. It has to be more true. It has to be
Yeah,
more fortified. The gates have to be stronger than the weapons against it. The walls have to be higher than the things they can throw over it. You have to be. I'll say this often. I'm God's favorite kid. I also know that I'm tied with all humanity for the number one spot. But it means something to me to say that in the presence of the Lord. I know, and you know that I know I'm your favorite kid. And it's
yeah,
absolutely true. It's more true than anything else I'm probably going to say the rest of the podcast is to say to ourselves in
yeah,
the presence of the Lord, or to say to him in the presence of my own soul, I know the decision you've made about me. I know that the way you feel about me is not a chemical, emotional response when you think about me. It's you made a decision about me before there ever was a me to give me all the attributes of your love, and I will not displace any of them. I can't, I dare not displace any of the attributes of God's love in my life. Every place that is not loved by God in me is an open door to the enemy. I
yeah.
have to believe more than I believe anything else in his great love for me, or nothing else he's done for me actually has a foundation.
That's right. And you mentioned these six things that you say to
Yeah.
yourself every day. We should do a podcast on that sometime,
Yeah.
Jim. I think
Six
that'd be
confessional
really,
truths.
I think if you're open to doing that, I think it would
Yeah.
be very, very interesting. So yeah, detaching identity from performance. Yeah, your value is not what you do. Your value is who you belong to.
Yes. That's right.
Secondly, we encourage pastors to learn and discover what it is to live under Jesus' yoke
Yeah.
instead of their own or their congregation's yoke.
Yes.
Jesus said his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So how do I know if I'm not operating under Jesus' yoke? I think it's fairly simple. If the load feels crushing,
Mhm.
maybe it's not his yoke you're wearing.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's your own. Perhaps it's the one people you lead are trying to make you carry. And we
Yeah.
have to
Wow.
sort
Yeah.
out and we try to help pastors sort out what Jesus is asking of them
Yeah.
versus what they are asking of themselves or others are expecting from them
Yeah.
to say or do. And one of my good friends said that yoke has to do with pace.
Mhm.
And Jesus is, in Matthew 11, he says, take my yoke. And
Yeah.
it's essentially what he's saying is, I want you to run at my speed.
Yeah. Right.
because
right.
I'm not going to run at your speed.
Yeah.
And so that's the second piece of this, Jim. Any thoughts on that second one?
Yeah. As a Japanese theologian, I can't think of his name, but he said love moves at 3 miles per hour because
Mm,
that's the pace of somebody taking a walk with Jesus. That's and that was fascinating because sometimes it feels like I'm the Xerox machine,
right.
producing that, that kind of that's the sound over and over and over again. But I like that. Yokama, I think his name was. John Mark uh, quoted him in one of his things on pace. But I like that thought that love has a predictable pace. It moves no faster than 3 miles per hour because that was the
Yep.
speed that Jesus chose to travel. Never got on a horse, him and the donkey colt, but he never galloped. He always walked. And I love that thought that if I'm doing this right, there's the pace should never be faster. I should never be out of breath in some ways, if that makes sense. I should never be. Give me a second. I just need a break. Like something I've gotten in front of him, or like a yoke as two animals pulling. Well, if I'm the smaller of the two animals, which if Jesus is in the yoke, I'm certainly the smaller of the two animals, and
Mhm.
I'm pulling. It's binding on me. Really, it's defeating the purpose of the yoke, isn't it? To pull outside of unity with the other animal is it defeats the purpose of the yoke.
And where I get messed up with this one, Jim, is when I see an opportunity and I think, yeah, that's a great opportunity. And I just go and I don't say,
Yeah.
Jesus, what do you think about this? Um,
Yes.
and I I have to work really hard at that.
Yeah.
Is this something you want me to pursue?
So here
Because
we're back.
my,
We're
go
back to
ahead.
the top of the list again. So that's my daily confessional truths. My daily to-do list. The number one thing at the top of it says, "Have you talked to Dina about this?" And that's why. It's because my wife is a lot kinder to me than I am to myself. And she's not nearly as excited about the opportunities as I am. And she balances me in
Yeah,
that way. So, and just recently we came through a season, we're in a season right now where I didn't do that. Actually erased it from my list because I did so good for a couple of years. I just took it off my list. And I was shocked that within a couple of months I had gone right back to it again. So maybe accountability is helpful here too. Like before I say yes,
agreed.
I always have a conversation with somebody
Sure.
that cares about me.
And I'm doing more and more of that with Laura now,
Yeah,
where I say, honey, this opportunity's been presented. What do you think?
yeah,
Because she's able to read, much like Dina, I think, able to
yeah,
read. She sees me better than I see me
yeah,
sometimes.
and cares
And
about you
she,
maybe more than you care about you as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
in a
that and
different
that's
way.
true.
Yeah,
So let me give you one more. We already
yeah,
kind of alluded to this earlier in the podcast, but I'm just going to say it again because I think
yeah,
it's important. So, one, detaching your identity from performance. Two,
yeah,
discover Jesus' yoke and live under that yoke.
yeah,
And then thirdly, paying attention to your dashboard warning lights. Here's some that we didn't mention earlier.
yeah,
Numbness.
yeah.
If you feel nothing, that's a warning sign.
Yeah, it
Something's
is
off.
huge. Yeah,
Cynicism or being jaded, that's a warning sign something's wrong,
yeah,
something's off.
yeah,
Um, we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, lack of joy.
yeah,
These are signals that burnout is lurking. And
yeah,
what these flashing lights are saying to you, they're God's gift to you, saying, slow down,
yeah,
something's off.
right.
And
Yeah,
you need to pay attention to it before it gets totally out of control. We've
yeah,
said this so many times that probably when the first word comes out of my mouth, the rest of our listeners and watchers will know what's coming next. Prevention is always easier than recovery,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's a lot less expensive. So pay attention to those dashboard warning lights. Pay attention to your spouse
yeah,
telling you you're tired, you're
yeah,
irritable, you're you're more cynical than I've ever seen you. Those
right,
are loud and clear signals that something is happening inside of you. And here's the deal: you can mask all of that by saying, "Yeah, but look what God's doing. Hey, look,
right.
look at our growth. Look at
I
the
must be doing everything right. Yeah, I'm being blessed.
And
Yeah,
this is where it gets dangerous, right?
it
Because
does.
we can equate a growth with the blessing of God on everything we're doing in our life. And sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's just not true.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. You can build a great church and be a mess.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you can.
And we don't want that for you. We want you to we
Yeah.
want you to not be a mess.
I'd actually say this, John. There's a, I think, had pastoring a great church, and at some time or another in that process, being a mess, those are synonyms.
Mm,
I think you don't know the challenges until they're there. You don't know how to respond to them
that's right.
until they're there. You again, I learned how to walk by falling down, and the pain of falling down caused me to rebalance myself, so I didn't lean that far. And I tell younger pastors, 30, 40 years old that are killing it. They're all excited. We're going to our third campus and we're building a $20 million. I just, oh, kid, I just know what happens next. Like, please tell me you're taking care of. Well, during the season, we're just on this wave, and
Yeah.
but you're going to get killed by that wave. Like
Yeah,
you,
you know what's at the bottom of that wave? The ocean floor full of rocks.
right?
And then that
Oh,
wave will not only deposit you on those rocks, it's going to then fall on top of you
yeah,
and drag you on the ocean floor. Literal experience out in California many years
really? Wow.
where, yeah, I thought I could handle a 10-foot wave. No way, man.
It handled
But
you.
it handled me, and I had marks for months to
Wow.
prove that it handled me. So, listen, Pastor, emotional exhaustion doesn't usually start with you being rebellious.
Yeah.
Usually, it usually starts with good intentions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You love God, you love people, you want to be faithful.
Yeah.
But listen to us today, faithfulness is not necessarily about running faster or taking on more. It might be if you're lazy, yes.
Yeah.
But again, I'll say it again, most of the pastors we work
No.
with, they don't have that issue.
Right.
Um, look, faithfulness is about running your God-given race
That's the word. Yeah.
at a God-honoring pace.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage you, we want to encourage you, pause today. Check your dashboard.
Yeah.
Trade adrenaline for abiding. Um, and remember, you're not what you produce. At the end of it all, it's not the size of the organization.
Mm.
It's not the, it's, well, you said it so much, Jim. Well done, good
Yeah.
and faithful.
Yeah.
Good and faithful servant. You're not what you produce, Pastor. You are who you belong to. Don't forget who you belong to.
Yeah. It's good, John.
So that's what I got today, Jim.
That's the anchor, right? The anchor for your
That's
soul
right.
is that. Well, as you're listening or watching today, I hope that you're hearing John's heart, and that is just caring about you long term.
Hmm.
I've run marathons and I watch these. My first marathon. Most people that run marathons, they run two in the same day. Their first one and their last one. And the reason that's the case is because they misjudge hills, they misjudge food, water, calories, and they just, but the number one thing, they go out too fast. They burn out in the first 10 miles and they got nothing left for the last, 16.2. That's a long time to be empty. So, and I
Yeah.
like you just said about Paul, I've run this race. I've finished it. I've fought this fight. I finished it. I've kept this faith. And now there's in store for me, this crown. So our goal is that you would honor the Lord with your life so he could honor you with the crown. That's our
Mm,
goal. So if we can help in any way, guys, gals, that's what we're here for. That's what we get out of bed for in the morning, hoping. You say, well, I don't want to bother you. We got out of bed hoping you actually contact us because we
that's right.
we want to help people. That's what our calling is. That's what our anointing is for. That's our purpose to a large extent. So convergecoach.com, we're waiting for you. And we are excited about what is ahead for you. We want to help you discover the things we talked about and many, many more. So God bless you. Our watchers, our listeners, we are praying for you. We believe in you. We trust that you've heard these words and you're going to respond to them now. You say, I don't know how, then click the link. Let's help you through this process. But you need it. It's important because you are leading either in alignment or outside of alignment, and we want you to lead from alignment.